Well, I talked today about the 4 responsibilities that a designer has. A responsibility to the world, to the craft, to clients, and then to self. You have a responsibility to the world in that you are responsible for the work that you put into it. And the work that you do as a designer affects the world because it goes out into it. And if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, if you're not doing your best work, if you're not conscious of the effect that work has, then you're being a bad designer. Responsibility to the craft. Designers have been around since the dawn of humanity. Designers have fought very hard to be taken seriously and to do to practice their craft correctly. And you're just the next designer in a line that stretches very far back. And you need to make sure that you're learning the lessons of the previous designers and also teaching the designers of the future how this job gets done. Responsibility to clients. When you take on work, you have the responsibility to do that work as best as you can and to make sure that the client is getting the best work that they possibly can and to make sure that that work is actually solving the problem in front of you. Now, sometimes the biggest obstacle in front of you could be that client, because they might say, hey, I'm hiring you to do this, and then along the way they tell you to do things that don't head in that same direction. And it's your job as a designer to tell them, like, hey, that thing that you want me to do, it's not going in the direction that we need to go. So you need to be able to explain to them why. First, and it starts by asking them why they want to do something a certain way. Why do you want to do it this way? And sometimes they don't have an answer, sometimes they do. And sometimes it's a good answer, sometimes it's not. But then you say, okay, I understand what you're trying to do. Here's a better way to get there. That's your job. Now, your responsibility to yourself is you have a responsibility to make a living. You have a responsibility to feed your family if you have it. And all of those other responsibilities eventually add up into making you the kind of designer that's able to do that better. Because taking responsibility for who you are and for what you do will bring better work to you. It'll be easier for you to be taken seriously as a designer, and your career will advance farther than it would if you're not paying attention to this stuff. So this is ultimately good business. If you want to be a designer, you are a gatekeeper. It is your responsibility to do things that you want to exist and to not do things that you don't want to exist. That's the job. It's not about making things pretty, it's about making things better.
Thank you a lot, Mike.
All right.
See you.